Good day, good people, and welcome to Revolutionary Belovedness. Thank you for being here. Please let me know in the chat section that you're able to hear me all right. Very good. Thank you so much. Tonight, our reflection is on humility as spiritual strength. And this comes from the teachings of Wayne Teasdale and his book on the mystic heart. A deep dive into what interspirituality is. Humility is really about embracing modesty, gratitude, and teachability as marks of spiritual maturity. And whether you are here for the live session or you're watching the recording, thank you so much for being part of this small community. Let's take a moment to center down, to find a posture that expresses both dignity and ease. Allow the spine to rise gently, as if lifted by quiet confidence. Let the shoulders soften. Rest your hands in openness. And bring awareness to the simple movement of breath. Feel the inhale enter as gift. Feel the exhale flowing outward as offering. There is nothing to accomplish in this moment. Breath arrives on its own. Breath sustains life without demand for recognition. And as your breathing steadies, sense the ground supporting you. Sense the shared air that has moved through forest, oceans, cities, and generations. This breath has touched saints and strangers alike. It has filled the lungs of ancestors and children. It is ancient and immediate. And allow a gentle gratitude to arise for the breath that keeps arriving. Let that gratitude shape the heart into receptivity. Let it soften the need to be first, to be right, to be seen. And just rest here for just a few cycles of the breath, receiving and releasing. And continue to do what you can to keep your awareness on the shape of your heart as receptivity as we share this reflection. Please keep in mind that the chat section is open, so if anything comes to your heart that you'd like to share, reflect, inquire about, please feel free to use the chat section at any time. We are here in community and in dialogue. As we move into this place of humility as spiritual strength, we also move into a place where we recognize that humility carries a very quiet radiance. And in a culture that celebrates visibility and achievement, humility forms as an interior strength that sustains every other virtue. It creates the spaciousness in which love matures into trustworthiness. And when humility shapes the heart, love expresses itself as freedom, generosity, and reverence. This strength grows from depth rather than display, from rootedness rather than recognition. It grows slowly, almost imperceptibly, as the soul learns to rest in something larger than its own reflection. Wayne Teasdale presents humility of heart as an essential element of a fully formed spiritual life. He describes it as clarity about oneself joined with reverence for the dignity of others. Humility grants accurate self-understanding and a gentle posture toward the world. It reveals spiritual maturity through modesty, gratitude, and teachability. These qualities arise through our contemplative awareness and faithful practice. They grow through daily formation rather than some type of dramatic achievement. They mature through the steady shaping of perception, through the willingness to see oneself truthfully and to honor others sincerely. The revolutionary love practice of breath offers an embodied doorway into this formation. Breath meets each person before language. It meets each person before ideology. And it meets us before identity takes shape. And breath is one of the key practices of Valerie Kaur's revolutionary love practice. See, breath flows beneath every role and accomplishment. Each inhale arrives as gift. Each exhale becomes participation in a rhythm larger than personal will. And through steady attention to breath, the illusion of our separateness softens. You see, life reveals itself as shared movement rather than isolated effort. And what seemed self-generated begins to appear as grace received and returned. Friends, this simple awareness opens the way into modesty. Breath cannot be possessed or controlled for long. It moves in rhythmic generosity, arriving and releasing in graceful succession. And the body deepens upon this exchange for every moment of existence. Awareness of this dependency invites humility. And gratitude follows naturally. Gratitude awakens reverence for the source of life and for the countless relationships that sustain existence. Indeed, breath becomes a quiet teacher, revealing that strength rests in receptivity. And so from gratitude flows teachability. A heart that's grounded in breath-centered awareness recognizes that wisdom circulates through many lives and traditions. The same air passes through diverse bodies across generations. Ancestors, teachers, strangers, and children share this invisible communion. And so remembering shared breath softens the tendency toward self-importance, and it cultivates curiosity. It encourages listening as a sacred act. Listening itself becomes a form of humility, an embodied acknowledgement that truth arrives through relationship. What else could listening really be? And friends, humility deepens through repeated return to breath in the midst of daily life. You know, when conversation intensifies, conscious breathing steadies perception. conscious inhale widens our awareness, and exhale softens our rigidity. Presence expands beyond the narrow lens of ego, and this expanded presence fosters respect and clarity. It shapes response through patience and dignity. So gradually the body learns that spaciousness offers greater strength than defensiveness does. Wayne Teasdale links humility with self-knowledge and spiritual practice, suggesting that no authentic spirituality flourishes without this grounding virtue. And breath supports this inward journey. And with a gentle attention to breathing, motives surface with honesty. Patterns of comparison and control or approval seeking reveal themselves in the light of awareness. And so breath holds these discoveries in compassion. It's through this compassionate seeing that self-knowledge matures into wisdom. Awareness no longer seeks perfection. It seeks integration, interbeing. And friends, as our self-knowledge matures, modesty takes root. Modesty arises from accurate perspective. And again, breath reveals that life flows through the body as gift rather than perception. Achievements, insights, and capacities become expressions of shared grace. And this awareness, friends, invites gratitude for collaboration with countless seen and unseen forces. And so it becomes easier to celebrate the gifts of others because identity no longer depends upon comparison. Let me say that again in this sense of humility as spiritual strength. Coming to a place where identity no longer depends upon comparison. And so from gratitude, this gratitude we have then shapes our character more deeply. When our awareness rests on the miracle of breath, appreciation permeates the ordinary moments. Even during challenge, breath remains our steady companion. Its rhythm communicates resilience and continuity. Each inhale carries possibility. Each exhale releases tension into wider space. And so this exchange cultivates trust in the sustaining presence. Trust softens anxieties about status and success. It allows the heart to dwell in enoughness. And also, simplicity emerges from a breath-centered humility. Breath draws attention toward what is essential and immediate. It anchors awareness in embodied reality. And in this anchoring, priorities clarify. And so love expresses itself in faithful presence with daily responsibilities. And thus, friends, spiritual strength appears as constancy rather than spectacle. Yes, there is dignity in steady kindness, and there is quiet authority in grounded presence. And within the movement of revolutionary belovedness, breath serves as threshold and foundation. Before listening deeply, breath prepares the heart for receptive attention. Before speaking truth with courage, breath aligns intention with compassion. Before engaging in action for justice, breath grounds the body in steadiness. And humility grows from this grounded alignment. Action then flows from centered presence. And effort becomes offering rather than assertion. Imagine for a moment entering a challenging exchange. Initial reactions may arise swiftly, shaped by habit and history. But a conscious return to breath invites a second gaze. Inhale creates space within the body. Exhale softens defensiveness. Awareness expands to include the humanity of all who are present. And humility guides response through empathy and clarity. Strength manifests as a capacity to remain rooted and to remain open. And over time, such rooted openness transforms relationships and communities. Breath also fosters gratitude for lineage and guidance. Each inhale carries echoes of those who walked this path before. Teachers, mentors, elders, and companions have contributed wisdom and sacrifice. And so recognizing this inheritance nurtures reverence. And humility blossoms as that awareness as it widens beyond our individual accomplishment. And it widens into communal participation. So spiritual maturity recognizes itself as part of a living stream of grace. The spiritual journey then unfolds as lifelong apprenticeship. Again, the breath models this apprenticeship through steady repetition. It invites return again and again and again. And each moment becomes opportunity for renewed alignment with love. This steady returning forms our resilience. It cultivates patience grounded in trust. And patience strengthens humility, since growth unfolds through time and faithful attention. And humility strengthens our prophetic courage. When speech and action arise from our breath-centered awareness, they carry steadiness and compassion. Conviction remains connected to reverence for dignity. Truth flows through presence rather than force. And in this way, humility empowers courageous engagement with integrity. Remember, friends, the strongest voice often speaks from the calmest center. Communal life also benefits from shared breathing. When groups gather, right? Small groups like ours, small groups like those that will be watching the recording. When groups gather in silence and attend to breath, collective presence deepens. Conversation unfolds from mutual respect. Discernment grows through attentive listening. Humility becomes communal posture that sustains unity and creativity. Shared breath reminds the community that each member participates in one living rhythm. Friends, our breath-centered humility also expands into ecological awareness. Trees, oceans, and countless living systems participate in the cycle that sustains each inhale. And so awareness of this interdependence, this interbeing, nurtures reverence for the earth, which brings about gratitude that extends into care, which brings about solidarity with all beings. That solidarity is a natural expression of humble recognition. And so humility reveals itself as ecological kinship. So this idea of humility as spiritual strength is a spiritual aspect that is constantly under development, undergoing maturity. And as humility matures, quiet confidence emerges. The confidence that's grounded in breath trusts the enduring rhythm of life. Even amid change, breath remains a faithful pattern. So this continuity offers refuge and stability. And our perseverance then flows from that gentle trust rather than strain. It's that kind of confidence that frees the heart from the need to dominate outcomes. And our teachability begins to flourish within this gentle trust, because breath creates pause for reaction. In that pause, insight can arise. A teachable heart welcomes growth as unfolding adventure, and wisdom enters through attentive presence. And each breath becomes invitation to learn anew. And over time, the countless small returns to breath shape identity. Neural pathways of calm awareness strengthen. The heart learns to inhabit grounded spaciousness. Modesty, gratitude, and teachability weave together into stable character. Humility becomes natural expression of lived communion. It ceases to feel like effort and begins to feel like home. So this revolutionary belovedness practice of breath and this humility as spiritual strength serve each other like two wings of a bird, The practice of breath stands at the center of humility as spiritual strength. It forms the interior ground from which love acts, how love acts wisely and compassionately. It integrates body and spirit into unified participation with life. Through breath, strength reveals itself as receptive steadiness rooted in shared belonging. Humility shines as luminous participation in a grace that sustains all. And as the seasons grow, and as this session unfolds, breath may serve as faithful companion, because it can accompany study, dialogue, service, rest. Let each inhale remind you that the heart, or remind the heart of giftedness. Let each exhale express surrender into loving participation. And it's through this continual exchange that humility rises with quiet assurance. Friends, spiritual maturity shines as receptive belovedness embodied in daily life, steady as breath, generous as breath, and quietly transformative in every encounter. Before we move into our spiritual practice together this evening in the form of a guided meditation, I want to just give a couple of minutes of silence on my part so that if there's anything that's bubbling up in your heart that you can share it in the chat. So take time, maybe just to be present to what's touched you. Or maybe you would like to share something by typing in the chat. Friends, our guided meditation today invites a gentle return to body through breath so that humility can be experienced as strength rather than smallness. And we're going to move slowly, allowing breath to teach the heart how to soften and steady at the same time. So let the practice unfold in simplicity. Allow your body to settle. Feel the weight of your body supported by the chair or the ground. Sense the natural rise of the spine. Let the shoulders soften. Let the jaw be at ease. And bring your attention to the inhale as it enters through the nose. Notice its temperature. Notice the subtle expansion in the chest or belly. And follow the exhale as it leaves the body. Feel the gentle release that accompanies it. There is wisdom in this rhythm. Breath arrives as gift. Breath leaves as offering. Each cycle reminds you that life flows through you. You participate in something vast and sustaining. As you continue breathing, notice where your body feels tight. Is there a place that braces or prepares to defend? Let your inhale reach that place. And let your exhale soften it. Feel what happens when you offer that tension to the rhythm of breath. Humility lives in this softening. It lives in the willingness to receive the next breath without earning it. It lives in the release that trust another breath will come. What shifts inside when you remember that you are sustained moment by moment? What happens to the need to prove or perform? Imagine now a recent situation in which you felt the urge to be right, to be seen, or to be affirmed. Hold that memory gently. Notice what sensations arise in your body as you recall it. Is there heat, pressure, quickening, contraction? And just breathe with those sensations. Let the inhale create space around them. Let the exhale invite ease. Good. Now ask quietly within, what deeper need was seeking expression in that moment? Was it a longing to belong? A longing to matter? A longing to contribute? And can you honor that longing with compassion? Let your breath cradle it. Good. Now imagine approaching that same situation with breath as your anchor. Feel yourself pausing. Feel the inhale widening your awareness to include the other person. Feel the exhale grounding your words in steadiness. How might humility have shaped your response? What tone would your voice carry? What posture would your body assume? Return again to the simple sensation of breathing. Notice how breath equalizes. It moves through every person, regardless of status or story. The same air that fills your lungs fills the lungs of strangers and ancestors. Sense the shared field of life around you, and let gratitude rise for this communion. Place one hand gently on your heart. Feel the subtle movement beneath your palm. This movement has continued since your first breath. It continues now without a strain. Receive this continuity as an assurance. Humility, my friends, becomes strength when it rests in this assurance. You do not need to grasp for identity. Identity unfolds through participation. You do not need to dominate outcomes. You can contribute faithfully and release the rest. So let us carry this into silence for just a couple of minutes. Breathing in, I receive this moment. Breathing out, I offer myself to love. Breathing in, I receive this moment. Breathing out, I offer myself in love. Take a moment now to begin to notice the room around you. Sense the sounds near and far. Feel the support beneath your body. Gently deepen the next inhale. Slowly lengthen the next exhale. And carry this rhythm with you as you return to ordinary awareness. And friends, may your breath continue to teach you and to teach your heart that humility is steady, grateful, and courageous. Before this session ends, I'd like to offer an opportunity to create a little bit of dialogue. And feel free to type in the chat anything you want. To help stimulate the dialogue, I have 4 questions that I'll offer. You can answer short tonight, and if you'd like to answer longer, these questions will be available on the Mighty Network where the recording shows up, and you can reply there as well. The first question is, how does the practice of breath reshape your understanding of humility as strength rather than weakness? Second, what concrete practices can help you return to breath in those moments of conflicts so that your response flows from humility and grounded presence? Third, how has your understanding of humility changed over time? And where have you discovered it to be a source of strength rather than diminishment? And fourth, how might humility as spiritual strength reshape the way that you exercise leadership, authority, or influence within your community? And feel free, for those of you here in the live session, if you'd like to share a short response in the chat, that you can do that now. Again, just a brief reminder, these sessions are recorded. The recording is available on the Mighty Network as well as YouTube. And the questions, again, will show up on the Mighty Network so that you can engage with them there. And anyone watching on YouTube, you can join the Mighty Network at any time. That link is in the show notes on the YouTube channel. Again, friends, thank you so much, whether you are here for the live session or you're watching the recording. We thank you for being part of this small community, engaging in whatever way feels right for you. Mariana has replied, heart-centered. Yes, heart-centered. Thank you for replying. Thank you for being here. Give just a moment if there's anyone else that would like it to share anything before we fade to black. All right, friends, until next time, have a wonderful evening. Look forward to seeing you soon. Blessings to all. Good night for now.